and welcome back to me channel. Unless you're new here, and then just welcome. Me name is Rusty with the flyaway hair. And this is me channel where I talk about and spotlight me favorite movies, mostly horror. And yeah, I want to throw a spotlight on this movie. I had a lot of fun with this movie, and that is Screamboat. Screamboat. Really, really good. I really, really loved it. It was really fun. Now, Screamboat was released in 2025. Correct? Yes. Just make sure. It was released in 2025, and it stars Jesse Posey, Allison Pittel, and Kailey Hyman. There's little Willie. You know what was funny about this movie is that I get one of the funniest things about this movie is just me personally. I did not know that Screamboat Willie was this little bitty thing. So I was like confused a little when they first started showing him. You know, I don't know why I thought he was like a full grown adult type creature. It wasn't until they showed him a little bit and I got a little confused because I was like, oh, he's little. I didn't know that. You know, he's like Chucky. He's like the size of Chucky. Or somewhere thereabout, maybe a little smaller than Chucky. I know when he was beheading the captain, you know, he was on his back, it looked like Chucky. He looked about the size of Chucky when he was on the captain's back. But, yeah, this movie, like I said, was released in 2025. Stephen LaMorte is the director, written by Matthew Garcia-Dunn and Stephen LaMorte. And like I said, starring Tyler Posey, Jesse Posey. International Movie Database is getting weird. It's like, if you go and look up a movie at International Movie Database, it'll say like stars such and such and such. And I've noticed lately that I don't know how they're arranging their cast, but it's like the people that they will put as starring in the movies are barely even in the movie, or they're like way secondary characters. And you're like, but like those three people that they have listed as the stars, only one of them is you'll even remember him, and that is the radio guy, Mike, that's on the radio all the time. The other two it's like, that's not who stars in this movie. Cindy and Pete and Selena are the stars of this movie, and yet they're not listed as the stars. It's people that have like really low, I don't know, it's really weird. So I ended up having to put their names up there: Jesse Posey, Allison Pittel, and Kailey Hyman. That's Pete and Selena and Cindy, or no, not Cindy, Amber, yeah. Jesse plays, Pete, Selena, and Amber. Those are the three main stars of the movie. They're in the whole movie, and they're not even listed as the stars of the movie, which is kind of weird. But whatever. So this movie opens with a couple of maintenance workers. They're talking about how the ship's going to be decommissioned. The ferry is the Staten Island ferry is going to be decommissioned, and Willie attacks. But you don't get to see that. But like that, I mean, right off the bat, you know what this movie is about, because that is like an ugly, ugly scene where he rips the guy's nose off and face off and stuff like that. And then you think he got the girl, I can't remember her name, but she shows up later. We'll get to it. Dominique, that's her name. So we see them get attacked, and then we started seeing all of the various passengers that are coming on, which is really fun. You've got the naked cowboy that everybody knows. He's in this. He's like sitting there. He's just like one of the crowd characters. And you're like, I know that guy. He's the New York. He's the naked cowboy, the guy with the cowboy hat and the guitar that walks around in nothing but his tidy whities. You know, so he's in it. And basically it's like a whole cross section of stereotypical New Yorkers, right? they have the cyclist, and they have, the Karen mom, and they have, so it's like, it's a weird little cross section of these people that are, beginning to pile on there. Now, the ship is not supposed to leave because there's a fog warning. But the captain is like really pissed off. He doesn't want to wait. So it's like, well, technically it doesn't start until 12, so you can go ahead and do the run, which was the worst thing that could have happened to him, at least. So we are introduced to Selena and Pete, who, like, she's running from the birthday girls. The only one I know is Ilsa, right? She's the one that's her birthday. And I guess Selena says they were at a party, and they found out she was 21, so she can buy booze, right? So these girls are, like, on her, and she's trying to get away from them. So he helps her avoid them, but they end up on the boat anyway. Please tell me. I mean, the birthday girls drive you crazy. They drove me crazy. So we get to see, we have the cop kill. Oh, no, first we have the Coke boy kill. And that was freaky. The little Coke, the boy that was doing Coke, and he was like dressed in that weird little, I don't know, what is that, a Tommy Gotcha or a weird furry character or something? I don't know. But we see his kill, and that was like extremely gory, and it was pretty cool. Then we have the cop kill where he hangs the guy over the ship into the propeller, and Selena actually witnesses that and sees Willie, and he's like falling in love, he gets the little thing, and he's always whistling. This movie is so weird, but it is so funny. It's so cool the way he whistles all the time, and the music is very Disney, like when he's creeping up on people, and he does all of these little cute movements and everything. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Which, I like something unique and new. So, she tells the crew about it, but they don't believe her. We get to see the captain kill that I talked about, where he was like on his throat with he was garroting him with like a piano wire kind of thing, and beheads him. He looks like Chucky on his back. That's the first thing that I thought when during that scene. The crew, he steers the boat like out where off course. The crew that didn't believe her though, the second mate, and then the other one, the like top detective. And then Pete comes in, and they all see that the captain's dead. So now we have a new captain. The second mate is now captain. And oh my God, we'll talk about his kill too. So they argue about who's in charge. They tell Pete to go and get everybody down to the lower decks. So he's going to do that. And this, and it was at this point that I thought, you've got an awful lot of people. How are you going to cut this down to to our victim group, right? Because there were so many people, all of these different New Yorkers, and it didn't take it long, and I was like, oh, that's how you're going to do it. Because he goes down there to get them to do that, and they're trying to do it, and, Pete and Selena and Amber, they're coming from the other direction, and they're locked in, right? I mean, they can't get into where everybody's at. And the detective, our lieutenant, whatever he was, he gives that rally speech, which was, to me, it seemed like an ode to, the Pride speech that Samuel L. Jackson gave the crew in Deep Blue Sea. Because he's sitting there and everybody's scared and all, and he starts pumping them up. And to me, that was an ode to that scene in Deep Blue Sea because the same thing happens. He gets them all pumped up to where you yourself are almost going, yay, New Yorkers, we're going to kick his ass. And then he gets like skewered, with a broom handle. And I didn't see that coming either, just like in Deep Blue Sea, which I should have because the scene was almost identical with him giving this gung-ho pride speech. I thought that was really cute. That was a really cute little thing to throw in there. Because there's lots of little odes like that in this movie, which I thought was very well done to put these kind of odes like it was. Because if you're a horror fan, you will recognize some of these things when you see them. So they're unable to get in. The lieutenant gets skewered, and then Willie grabs the fire hose and he wets them all of the people in there. And Pete and Selena and Amber and them, they're watching, and they can't do anything about it. And then he hits the electric box, and he literally fries everybody. I'm like, well, if you needed to get the population down to our core group of victims, you just did a very good job. Because he electrocuted 30 people. So you're like, okay, well now we're down to Selena and Amber and Pete. And then the little boy Mateo, he's still alive. And he is found by Moses. So there's only a couple of them that survived that. Now there are a couple of people still out on the ship, so there is still a couple more victims to come. And that's when we get, I know I got it wrote down, the BJ kill. That was just So yeah, they find you have this random cop, and this girl comes in, and they are like, he's like, no, I gotta help, we gotta get the power back on and stuff. And she is like, no, we're gonna do this. She starts, doing down on her knees, and you see Willie up in the air vent, and you hear him whistle, you know what I'm saying? And the cop looks up there, and then Willie jumps out, and he cuts his weenie off. And he had a really big one too. It cuts it off, and it's still in her mouth when she falls back in. And I was just going, oh my God. So what is that an ode to? And I'm like, well, of course, it's an ode to I Spit on Your Grave, right? Because that was absolutely squirmy. I remember I laughed out loud while at the same time I was very disturbed because they showed it laying there after it came out of her mouth. So he kills both of them, and you have that. So they're trying to find him. Everybody's trying to maintain. You have these little random kills like that, and unfortunately for me, the birthday girls were not. Only a couple of them were, in there when they got electrocuted. And the other two, they were down in this room taking their stupid social media selfies. And Willie gets so frustrated because he can't figure out how to turn the forklift on. And he's listening to them talk. And he felt like you felt, kill them, please. Because, they're just talking all this shit. And he ends up skewering them both through the head with the forklift thing when he finally got it started. So it's that was the one time I was go Willie. You know what I mean? So yeah, we have I put OMG when guy gets his dick cut off. That was so Mateo and Moses meet up with Amber and Pete and Selena. The new captain kill. We weren't through with the penis yet. Because, Willie is just so evil, but he likes having fun with it. I guess that's what makes him so evil, right? because when the new captain was like under there and he kept asking, he thought it was, I guess, one of his assistants, you know. It's like, hand me the wrench, and he hands him a screwdriver, you know, and he's like, no, the Phillips screwdriver, and then and then he hands him a wrench, and he's like, oh my God, and, you know, and it's like, just give me something else. I don't remember what it, but he handed him like this bloody rag and stuff, and the guy's like, what is this? And he like undid it, and that guy's dick fell on his face, and it fell, you know, like right there, like hang it right. And I was like, oh my God. Well, he screamed, and he like come out from under there, and Willie was waiting with the TV and splattered his head. And I was just like, you know, you know. I'm really enjoying this. Fuck all you people on International Movie Database and Letterboxd. You people just don't know how to have fun, is all I got to say. So, we then get Elsa kill. Now, she was the last one, right, of the birthday girls. And I was surprised by this one, you know, because she's out there on the deck. She's trying to get signal on her mobile. And she can. And then she sees Willie, and they have this, like, confrontation. And she manages to, like, get away from him just in time. And she came out of her shoe like Cinderella. You know what I mean? So the Cinderella slipper was there. So that was like an ode to Cinderella. The shot and the way it all happened. And so I was like strangely happy that she had gotten away from him, you know? And then all of a sudden he's like the door fucking matters. I've got a harpoon, right? And that didn't occur to me either, because she thought she had gotten away from him, right? And she slammed the door. And she's leaning up against the door, all relaxed, like I got away from him. And Willie's on the other side, like, but I've got a harpoon. What does the door matter? And sure enough, you realize that when it comes through her, you know, and her guts come out and stuff like that. And I wrote down that Ilsa kill kind of hurt. She grew on me. And I did. It was like when that harpoon came through her, instead of being like I was when all of the other birthday girls, you know, party, when they all got killed, which was I just thought were cool kills, and I was kind of like, they were such dicks. Just a little bit of time after them and her, I don't know, for some reason I felt bad when Ilsa got killed. I felt bad for her. And I like hated her. But then I had stopped hating her because she was kind of funny. It was very weird. So, we have the old man who tells them of the Steamboat Willie story, so we get a little of the mythology about all of this. That he was an experiment, and that he was on the ship, and the captain loved him, though, and took care of him, and gave him a home. And then out at sea, there was like a storm and stuff, and he fell overboard, and that caused Willie to be trapped in this boat all this time with no one, and it drove him crazy. And that's what he was out for, was revenge and going out to sea to find this, you know, his Walt is who he called him. I'm assuming that's Walt Disney. But we then had the Roscoe kill with the steam. That was really good. I like that. We have the five who go to the engine room, and they actually find Dominique, which surprised me because, you know, she's in the intro, and I thought both of those had been killed, and instead there she was. And I'm like, well, there's something up with that then, because Willie had her. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of instantly knew that she had to be, like, working with him or something. And so she talks to Mateo and them, and I knew I was right. When she turned around and started walking down the stairs, she had the outline of Willie, or Mickey Mouse. That Mickey Mouse outline was on her shirt, which is the Steamboat Willie outline as well. Then she like turns around with this stupid homemade helmet with the flashlight and the ears and stuff, and I'm like, chick is fucked up. I was like, what the fuck? So she ends up hitting Moses, which was terrible. I liked him. She works for Willie now. And that they were on, she was helping him with their rescue mission out to find Walt, who was lost at sea. Will confesses to Selena. Oh, wait. Okay. So we have Selena and Amber. They have split off. They get into a fight with Willie. And she ends up like stabbing Willie in the eye. And that's how they get out of that. Dominic and Pete, they argue. Willie gets upset because of him getting stabbed in the eye, and he ends up like killing Dominique. So there you go. Moses ends up shooting a flare, causing a big explosion after the others got out, so he took himself out to save them, which was, pretty cool. Pete and Willie have the big, Amber and Selena rescue Mateo, but Pete stays and fights with Willie, and I assumed that Pete was dead, that Willie won. So Amber and Mateo and Selena, they're all going up top, right? And then Selena comes up with an idea, tells them to go ahead and she'll wait. Now, of course, I'm sad because Pete's dead, and that's upset me. So, I even wrote it like Pete and Willie fight. Pete loses, ? Sad face. So Selena gets the idea. Cindy and Mateo go up to the top deck. And then Amber and Willie have a big fight, which was pretty cool. We think that she's kind of dead, but Selena dresses up as Willie's wife, it's like sort of like Minnie Mouse, and she goes up there and kind of stuns him, freaks him out, and gets him close enough to where she tries to hit him with the hammer, and I'm like, how do you miss something that little with that big, with a weapon that big? But she does manage to miss him several times, and ends up though stabbing him like right in the top of the head with a big pair of scissors, and he falls overboard. And then daylight comes and the Coast Guard rescue. So you're like, cool. Then you see the epilogue, and that is that you see Willie waking up on shore with a bunch of garbage on the shore, and he sees something and whistles, and it looks like a little bit of Minnie Mouse, or his wife, like steps into view. So it's like, I was like, well, because they're making a sequel, right? Which I will definitely grab. And I know you can't be possibly surprised. After all, I fucking love Winnie the Pooh. Both movies are so fucking cool to me. So you can't really be surprised that I would like Screamboat. Now, I'm not saying all of them, like that Mickey's Mousetrap is one of the most horrible things ever created. I haven't got to see whatever, Bambi, The Wrath of Bambi, or whatever it is. I haven't got to see that, and I still haven't got to see Peter Pan either. I don't know if I'm going to like that or not, because Peter Pan is supposed to not be a 50-year-old serial killer. So I don't know what that's going to be about. I'll give it a chance if I can, but so far I can't find it to buy it or anything. But we'll see. But Screamboat, yeah, it ranks up there with Winnie the Pooh, I really, really loved this movie. So not only does Willie wake up on the shoreline, but we then flash back. The final part is, who's his name? Mike? Yeah. Remember the radio operator, Mike? Well, Mike hears something on the radio. So not only has Willie woke up on shore, Mateo, Amber, and Selena have been rescued. Willie wakes up on shore, but as Radio Mike is sitting there, we hear Pete start yelling, "Hey, is anybody there? I'm fucking trapped down here. Come get me." And then you hear, Mike go, "Oh my God, are you alive? Coming for you, bro." And he takes off, and I was like, Pete isn't dead. I'm really happy now. I thought Pete was dead. So, 4.0 out of 10. I read some of the reviews, and of course it's a laugh riot, reading the reviews. How dare you? Walt Disney is rolling over in his grave. And stuff like that. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, these people need to have some fun. Get a life, because you probably ain't got one. How long do you think you got left? I know you're hoping it's 50 years, but how do you not know it's only tomorrow? When you go into Starbucks to get your coffee before you go to work, and you come out and BAM! A taxi eats your ass for dinner. You don't know. Right? So, chill the fuck out. You better enjoy life while you got it, is what I'm trying to say. Did I jump scare you? I hope so. I meant to. But, yeah, so I did write a review. I said that it was ridiculous. These fucking cheesy. What I don't understand about a lot of reviewers and a lot of movie critics and reviewers is you just don't really seem to ever have fun with movies. I mean, literally, I have quit channels because I'm like, dude, your last 15 videos have been about a fucking movie you hate. Oh, this came out, I hate it. This came out, I hate it. I'm like, you need to find another hobby. Because watching movies is just not for you. I mean, go watch Apocalypse Now, and The Godfather, and Scarface, and Citizen Kane, and the other 8 movies that you think are fantastic, and just watch them on repeat. But as far as just watching movies as a hobby, you really need to give it up, because I would never do anything in which I had seemingly so little fun, and a lot of you people seem to have very little fun watching movies. It's like every 6th movie you watch, you think is alright. And I'm like, maybe you should start reading books or collecting music or pottery. What's that football player, Rosie Greer? What did he do? The needlepoint shit? Give it a shot. Quilting? There's got to be something else for you motherfuckers to do besides watch movies, to go to Letterboxd and International Movie Database and bomb them with 1-star reviews and how shitty they are. And you reviewers on YouTube, I know you're just doing it for clicks and Patreon and money like that, because now you got me pissed off, is what you do. Now, okay, I'm pissed off now. Because now that's exactly what you fucking do. You're just doing it for fucking money. You're doing it for clicks and shit like that, because you are seriously not a film fan. I'm not saying you got to like everything. I hate a lot of shit, but I'm not getting on here every other video and complaining about it. I go and find the movies that I love. Every once in a while I'll do a rant. Yeah, it's mediocre, whatever. I'll tell you. But goddamn, I got 3,000 fucking movies now. I finally crossed that line. I love movies. And the reason I love movies is because I can find a whole hell of a lot of them that I like. And there's a lot of you people that don't seem to be able to do that. You shit on just about anything and everything that you run across. And in my opinion, you need to go fucking... something. I can't even think of anything. You know? Bonsai trees. Put together puzzles. You know, like puzzles of the Statue of Liberty or whatever. Collect stamps. Do something, because I tell you what, watching movies and running your mouth about them is obviously not a good time for you. I loved Screamboat. I think it's wonderful. I gave it a 7.8 out of 10, which means I gave it an 8 on International Movie Database. So you can all kiss my ass because I liked it. And I'm so glad they're making a sequel. I just want another Winnie the Pooh. Love you, miss you, bye-bye. Even if it didn't sound like it right there. I'll see you in the next thing I do. This is a very fun movie. I had a lot of fun with it because I went into it knowing exactly what it was. I love the runtime, an hour and 42 minutes. I think it's great that they did not, that they gave me more than 90 minutes. There was a lot of great kills, all practical, which was wonderful. So that was really cool. I like this movie. I like it. It was a fun slasher time, with some interesting kills and some cool characters. And it was very entertaining to me. And, I think they did a good job with the money that they had. I don't know how much they had. It's obviously a B movie. And, I think it was great. And that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Bye-bye.